A woman came back from grocery shopping, only to be horrified to see her sister-in-law push her two children off the balcony. However, the woman didn't rush to check on them. Instead, she calmly glanced at her watch and memorized the exact time of the incident. Then she went downstairs with her sister-in-law and saw the two children lying motionless on the ground. She casually started eating sunflower seeds. At this moment, no one knew that she was not cold-hearted, but a person who had been reborn. In her previous life, the woman went grocery shopping with her husband, but her husband urged her to go home first. When she got home, she was horrified to find that her sister-in-law had pushed the two children off the balcony. By the time the woman rushed over, it was already too late. Her sister-in-law's explanation was, the children had misbehaved, and while she was punishing them, they accidentally fell. The woman quickly called for an ambulance, then hurried downstairs to check on the children's injuries. Unexpectedly, her sister-in-law turned around and accused her, asking why she had pushed the children off the balcony. Her husband arrived shortly after, slapping her across the face. He said, "No wonder you tricked me into going grocery shopping. It was all part of her plan to kill them during the time gap." The woman, confused, tried to explain that she had seen her sister-in-law push the children. However, her sister-in-law, grieving, denied it, saying how could she possibly hurt her own flesh and blood. This left the woman speechless. Just then, the children's biological parents arrived at the scene. The woman wanted to defend herself, but the father showed a surveillance video, pointing out that the real culprit was her own biological daughter. The woman was completely dumbfounded. At that moment, her older brother, furious, grabbed a knife and threatened to kill her. Caught between her biological parents and older brother, the woman was brutally killed by her own brother. However, fate gave her a chance to be reborn. She unexpectedly returned to the hour before the children were pushed off the balcony. At this moment, she was grocery shopping with her husband. Following the events of her previous life, her husband would urge her to go home, and then she would be framed by her sister-in-law. This time, she decided not to make the same mistake. When her husband urged her to return home, she deliberately delayed and leisurely strolled through the market and collected all her shopping receipts. She checked the time. It was half an hour before the children would fall in her previous life. She turned and saw her husband chatting with her sister-in-law. This made her realize that from the very beginning, her husband and sister-in-law had been working together to frame her. A thought crossed her mind. She decided not to go home. She understood that going home was like confessing to the crime. She calmly calculated the timing and decided to return home at the right moment. When she did return, she saw her sister-in-law pushing the children off the balcony again. This time, it was exactly 10 minutes later than the previous life. The woman remained calm and followed her sister-in-law's act of pretending to care. Going downstairs to investigate her sister-in-law's motive for killing her own son, she called for an ambulance, but this time, she didn't react with grief as in her previous life. Instead, she stood aside, calmly eating sunflower seeds while watching her sister-in-law perform her act. Watching her niece and nephew die tragically, she was still able to leisurely eat sunflower seeds, which made the onlookers accuse her of being a vicious aunt. Soon, the ambulance arrived and took the two children to the hospital. Her older brother, after hearing the sister-in-law's slander, wanted to kill her immediately to avenge the children, since she and her husband had chosen to be childless. The relatives had